We're now ready. We're recording.
Mr. Miller's the chairman.
It's beaten to order.
Is that correct? The bus is on the way, as we understand, to go take a tour of looking at about a half a dozen spots or thereabouts. We have a couple other items in your agenda, one of which was a question that was posed to me is why the committee is considering different answering services. And I don't know if you guys remember, but as a result of that bad storm that we had, Hurricane Michael, I think people in Blackstone are used to calling the non-emergency or non-911 number for the town.
Now that goes to the.
My power's out.
Nottaway
My power's out. Now it goes to the county, and I think in a county-wide emergency like they had, it wasn't so bad in Blackstone, bad enough, but I think Burkeville had, train trestles out and roads washing out, and the dispatchers were doing their thing, and they were getting a lot of phone calls. Hey, do you know when my power's coming back on? And so the sheriff had addressed it with the chief and I a couple times, and we had hoped that it would kind of solve itself, but I think the sheriff has come back and said, guys, I really need y'all to do something, because these phone calls during an emergency, I don't think he minds answering them incidental, just here and there, but when he's dealing with a big problem, I think it's a problem for him. I'm not asking you guys for any action today, but I did want to, the chief did go out and get two quotes, one from, pretty big font, one from Hello Telephone Answering Service, and another from Answering Service of Richmond. And if you just look at these generally, there's a one-time setup fee, and then it's broken up into the number of calls. I don't think we have that many calls when the power goes out. And for 25 phone calls that they receive, it's basically $50 a month. Okay? For the first 25 calls. Each call thereafter can be $1.73. And there are different tiers that you can reach, but I think this thing has the potential of getting a little pricey. And I want you guys to take a look at it and show that we are taking a look at this on behalf of the town, because I think the sheriff would like a response of what we're going to do. But we may have to create a separate phone line, condition people for electric. You've got to call this number and not the sheriff's department. So there's going to be an education process that we've got to make sure people know. And the sheriff has to be also a little patient too, that if people call him after we attempt to do something here, we refer you to a separate 292 number or whatever that may be created, or if we apply one of our non-emergency numbers to it. I think it's going to be an education process.
So this is just doing an emergency, or?
This is just electric lines or electric calls. That's all he's really wanting to get out of. He wants to take the emergency calls or police related or public safety related. He wants to get the town's electric outage calls. And I think there's a lot of them. My mother-in-law, I'm sure, my wife, any of those kinds of folks that say, my power's out, I don't know what the town knows. And they will quickly call.
But right now, that number is
Answered by, I think it's
3322.
3322, and if I called that number right now, who would answer it?
Nottaway.
Nottaway Sheriff's Department.
Oh, so is that the number that used to be?
That's always
Ours.
been the non-911 number.
And that used to be the number to the front desk where Louise and them
Right,
all.
that's
When
what I
the police
thought. I
department
thought it
was open
sounded
24 hours. That
And
was
people calling, hey, I'm lost, or,
Okay. So
I'm-
we just, I didn't think, I think we just need to.
I think the sheriff's almost to the point where he said, you guys have to do something. Now, I think we can, but if we leave 3322 with the sheriff's department, we're gonna have to create a new number
Right.
that's gonna be for electric department calls and figure out who they're gonna notify. Are they gonna notify Dan? Are they gonna notify me? Are they gonna, we've got some protocol to do, but you can see what the cost is that you could be looking at in a bad storm. People are gonna call like the devil. So you could be looking at a fluctuating price of several $100s if we have a hurricane to maybe nothing in a particular month. So,
And we could start, when we start the process, you could start on the new bills or on the bills we're using now and say this is the
yeah,
number
we've
for
really
power
gotta
outages.
educate folks to say, if you've got a power outage, we don't mind you calling. And maybe even we need to work on something maybe in the future, but I get a lot of folks that wanna use technology more. And maybe there's a website that people could go to, but if the power's out, can you get on your computer, the whole.
And I think when the guys were, when the police department was open 24/7, the guys would report to the dispatcher that week who's on call. So it could be like Dan and his, or Joey, or Jason, or, you know, whoever was on call, and so,
I think we'll have to let them know on the first week of the month, it's Joey and Dan, or whoever the lead is on that particular team, and we're gonna have to come up with a plan. Don't have to
So
immediately.
you saying we're gonna have to get this?
I think the sheriff is ultimately gonna say, I'm not gonna answer that phone number. He doesn't wanna do that. I mean, he doesn't wanna be,
What do they use the number for now?
people will call to the sheriff's department if it's not an electrical call and say, there's a squirrel in my chimney. If it's not 911 and life threatening, people will call in criminal activity.
Why don't they just disconnect the number completely? And use their number that they have for the sheriff's department?
If I'm calling the sheriff's department, it's important to know I'm calling 911,
Right.
right? They could disconnect it or just stop answering it and bring it back here, but it's still gonna be a answering service of some kind.
Right.
We do want people to be able to report outages
Right.
if we don't know about them, if a squirrel gets fried on a power line or a transformer goes out, we want them, Dan and the guys want to know. I think the intention is that they would keep, what the sheriff would like to do is keep that number, but it not be for electric department calls or reporting potholes or any of that kind of stuff. Okay?
Well, that's gonna be an awareness thing on
Gonna
both
be aware.
sides either way.
You gotta
If they
keep
wanna
on
use it
telling
for
people, I
something
know
else,
you've
then they're
called
gonna have to be
3322
telling
for the
people.
past 25, 30 years, 50 years, but now you're gonna need to start using a different phone number. And, heads
Well,
up.
it'd be nice if we could have some kind of not necessarily an answering service, I guess, worst case, but get some kind of that Dan could call up and say, you know, in the first hour of knowing something, they could just call up and leave a recording.
Mhm.
We're working on all the power lines, that we expect the power line will be back up in 5 hours.
Could be one of the things.
Okay, and then in another hour, they update it, hey, we're now at this point, so that anybody could call that number and says, hey, it's gonna be up in 5 hours, okay. You
I'm
know?
sure there's ways to use more technology, but I think we're only gonna reach,
In
Right,
certain-
trying to
certain
get people to
people,
know what number to
you know, with
call.
apps on the phone
Right.
or Facebook or any of that kind of stuff. I still think there's a lot of folks
That
that
aren't
don't
on those
necessarily are
things.
not that
That's right.
active on that kind of stuff. So
So my recommendation would be to go out and seek and see what we can do. It can't be a
Formulate a
rush
plan.
thing.
yeah, I don't think we're ready for a recommendation yet, but I want you to take a look at this, think about some different options, or if you know somebody at Pickett, if they have what works well. I think we gotta stick with the phone service, for the simple fact is, I don't think we can just simply make it on an app or something like that. I think we're gonna make a mistake, so I think we gotta stay a little more traditional with the phone. Everybody can use the phone service. Mhm. And these are the two options that the chief found.
Yeah, but those,
You drive?
that's out of control.
Yeah, front or
I mean,
back?
Yeah.
Out front. All right, we'll be out there in 2 minutes.
I mean, given,
Thanks.
on that day, I mean, we could have easily got 1,000 calls.
Oh, I
So
bet they got-
are we prepared to spend $1,000 for one night?
For one.
I'd say, I would, I'm not. That's crazy.
It gets pricey. Yeah, I mean, they're what, $1.75 a call? If you
Yeah.
exceed your,
Yeah, then it could be $2,000.
and maybe that's one of the options. Maybe we could have nothing but 911 up there at the sheriff's office, and then
But
have
we,
some kind of a paging system or something like that for Dan and the guys. If something goes down at night, please call this number, and it'll just be a recording that automatically go to Dan and bypass this bunch. This could be pricey,
Yeah.
no doubt. Not only pricey, but we don't know how much it would be.
Right.
You know, we could budget $5,000 a year for it, and boom, we have 2 hurricanes and an ice storm. The next thing you know, we got
$5,000 is gone.
gone
Yeah, in a
minute.
weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the thing, that it pages directly to Dan, but, you know, do we want Dan to get 1,000 phone calls either? I don't know.
Especially if he's out there working.
Hmm?
Especially if he's out there working, how's he gonna take them?
Exactly, he's gonna quit answering the phone, you know what he's gonna do.
Right.
He's
Right.
gonna be
Well,
riding around and just say, oh,
I think Louise, she's there Monday through Friday till 9 PM. So if the 3322 stayed there, she's still there to answer calls until 9.
And that's one
What's
of
gonna
the,
happen after 9?
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Because the majority of the calls are gonna come in after 9.
right now, we've got 9 o'clock coverage. I do think that Louise is looking to adjust some of her schedule, because I think she wants to retire. But I think we're gonna have to make a decision. I'm gonna have to make a recommendation to you guys, or to the council, saying, we really want those extended hours. She wants to be able to compress her time, I think, to fit within the retirement, but that's gonna compress that the doors will be closed at like 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock.
So Phillips, what were we talking about if we were to put another dispatcher on?
At night,
Mm-hmm.
cost. I mean, you're gonna drop, for a good dispatcher, you're gonna drop 50 grand a year to have it. Be $50,000 a year, when you think about it. You say it's, you're paying, like, Louise and them are making about 15 bucks an hour. That's 30 grand right there, and then you add your bennies, you're pushing $50,000 a year. And the intention was, we're gonna let the county dispatch,
But now the county's hollering.
and then the county's now coming back and saying, well, we don't wanna do this part of it.
Well, I don't think the county ever really wanted to do it in the
No, they
first
don't wanna
place.
do it. The only reason they're doing it, I believe, is because they have
They
a,
knew
a
that
commitment to
everybody was
True
up
Burke.
against a wall, really.
crew in Burkeville, they dispatch for, and so I don't think they could outright just turn the town of Blackstone down. But I think because we have the electric department, I think we're a little bit more of a problem for them. Another dispatcher? Yeah, you got another body, another mouth to feed. And, someone asked me if 911 taxes could be collected by towns in addition to counties to pay for dispatch centers. And I don't know if that's the case. I know counties can collect. If you look at your cell phone bill, I'm sure there's a E911 charge or I'm not sure, or a tax or whatever they call it. I'm not sure if the town can collect something in addition, if you wanted to keep the center open and just start dispatching again. But we got out of the dispatch business to save money, and it has been, even though we're paying the county $20,000 in excess of $20,000 a year for dispatching, it's still cheaper than I think we had 3 full-time dispatchers at one time. If not more. We had Louise, Barbara, and Kevin Webb's, was it his sister? Yeah, what was her name?
Runyon, Lindsay Runyon.
Lindsay Runyon. So I know at least there were 3. So you take 3 full-time positions, we were dropping 100 plus.
How many we got now?
None. We got Louise, who is not
She's
dispatching,
there till 9.
but she's over there doing paperwork and
Right.
correspondence for the chief and basically keeping the office occupied until 9 o'clock.
Who says it has to be a full-time position?
And make it part-time. And we've already got some different cost estimates of doing some blending. If Louise wanted to work part-time, and then we were to add another part-time person to give us that full coverage at least till 9 o'clock, maybe later if we wanted to. And we don't need to do it Monday through Friday, or 7 days a week. I think you need to concentrate more like on a Wednesday through Sunday,
Sunday.
or something like that. It's more cost. We just gotta balance the cost. Do we wanna have that dispatch center open, or do we wanna find a remote or a digital solution to,
Well, either way, you're gonna spend money.
yeah, either way you're gonna spend money. Because I don't think the sheriff is gonna continue doing it unless we come up with something. He certainly doesn't want to, when he's got a big emergency. Next time we get together, we'll probably have a little more detail for you, and maybe even a plan on perhaps some additional dispatch, because Louise has notified the sheriff, or the chief, that she'd like to reduce her hours to comply with the retirement. She can only make so much money, I think. So, then coming back to you guys, or with the police employment committee, and come up with maybe a plan that will take care of this and that at the same time, but it's more money. More money. All right? Y'all all right? You all right with it?
Do you wanna go ahead since you, already got me that and do LED conversions while we're here, and then we can just come back and talk about the other items? We'll just ride to a couple of areas.
Front page, Freeman Enterprises. This is a gentleman that owns McDonald's. A whale of a good guy. Very community minded, helpful as he can be. He has asked, because I think he may have stores where conversions to energy efficient appliances, he just did the remodel at McDonald's.
That's what we talked about this before, right?
And if he had been a Dominion customer, you can see behind it, this is Dominion's policy for receiving a rebate for installing energy efficient appliances or lighting. As much as I like Mike and as much as he does for the community, the town doesn't generate electricity. The need for more kilowatt hours should be partnership between the town and Dominion, but Dominion is the one that benefits from less demand, okay? And Dominion won't do it because he's not actually a customer. And I would just have to recommend to you guys, after my research, and Southside Electric does not give any of these kinds of rebates either. I just have to recommend that because we are only a distributor and not a generator of electricity, that the benefit would really be to Dominion, and that we would decline creating such a policy. I hate to do it, Mike's a good guy, but I think in the town's best interest, we're a distributor, we buy it wholesale and we sell it retail. Dominion makes the power, either with coal fire, generation, they're the ones that have to struggle on hot days and cold days. And my recommendation would be that we decline to adopt such a policy because we're a distributor and not a generator of electricity.
And then we'd also open the door up to anybody else that wanted to do it.
Oh yeah, the fellow that I believe runs the, I think it's the laundromat down there.
So what is he really asking for?
He wants $2,000, $1,944.
Because he's using appliances or installing appliances that demand less electricity. Well, that doesn't benefit us to give him $2,000 and sell less electricity. We're taking a double smack. Whereas Dominion, they pay $2,000, but that frees up some capacity for them that they can sell to somebody else. It's more for, I think, a generator rather than a distribution company. No reflection on Mike. I do think he's a nice and good asset to the town. And done a nice job. You go to McDonald's all the time.
Give him a certificate of appreciation.
I just think this is probably not something the town needs to be involved in. Okay, and Mike wrote this letter, goodness, back in March, so we've been back and forth several times with it. And I'm finally ready to make a recommendation. That's probably just not in our best interest.
I would make a motion that we recommend to the council that we do not support his rebate.
Do you second that, Mr. Miller?
I second.
Okay. So all will be in favor?
So Philip,
Yes, sir.
if we were to give him the 1944, we would be losing, right?
Yeah, we pay it out of our pocket. And we can't stop him from doing any energy efficient appliances. That's just smart in a macro world.
That's
But
a business decision he made, right?
he made to
Right.
do that. And the 1900 would just come out of your general fund or your electric fund, and we'd cut him a check. Whereas if Dominion, say they were dealing with Microsoft or somebody big, all right, big user, and they were going to put in energy efficient systems, that's less power that Dominion has to generate. They don't have to make that power. Okay, so there's a benefit to them. That's why they charge more for demand. If you ever heard of demand meters, they charge more per kilowatt hour on the hottest periods or when the demand is greatest. They have a calculator.
We used to get a rebate out of Pickett because they'd call us and say, hey, we're in a peak demand.
Shut
We'd
stuff down.
shut everything off and go to generators. And so that would save them electricity, and then they come back and give us.
So they get the benefit that they have power on hand. I think they're working with these gas-fired plants that they're building around to because we don't get called. We have the generators just like he does. We call them peak shaving generators. And we haven't been called over probably the past 6-7 years anywhere near like we used to. We used to run them in the summertime back in the 90s. If it was hot, those babies were turned on in the afternoon. And if it was very cold in the morning, they were turned on in the morning. They were running all the time. The benefit is still there to have it, and we're contractually obligated to provide it, but we don't run anywhere near like we used to. Very rare, in fact, that we run. Answer your question?
Yeah.
Come around with the ball.
All right, I'm gonna cut the video off and we'll come back in here after the meeting and make any more motions if need be.
Hey, Philip, one of the